Hello everyone, my name is Ishaan Jolly, also known as the Jolly Legend. I'm a voice actor and Twitch streamer, and welcome to this video where I am showcasing the best GOXLR settings and setup for the Shure SM7B microphone. I'm using these settings right now, and this is the warm, bassy, strong, muscular sound you can get from the Shure SM7B with the GOXLR settings cranked the way I have done it. Now I will switch the microphone back, I will switch the GOXLR back to complete default settings, and I will show you the difference and how I configure it in a second. Let's go. Now the microphone and GOXLR are set completely to the default. So let me showcase the GOXLR software and how I configure this microphone. Here we go. Right, first off, go to mic setup and set the decibels to around 50 decibels. Right, I'm going to say this before clicking on it because whenever I click on it, it makes the audio sound so much quieter. It's really annoying. So, you want the microphone to be as about an inch or two from your face, because this microphone is built with a very strong proximity effect. And this microphone is if you don't want to have your mic really close to your face, buy a different microphone, because this mic is best used this close. So, now go to mic setup and make sure that your speaking level is in this sort of range, in between the halfway low and the halfway loud. So when you're whispering, it should be right around there. And then when you're shouting, that's fine. That was a loud shout of mine, it clipped. I don't get that loud on stream too often, but hey, it's fine if you're raging or something and you clip. It's not too big a deal. It's just that the loudest noise you make normally, that should never be clipping. It's if you shout really loudly, that's fine if that clips, because that isn't going to happen very, very often. But hey, that's good. Okay. So 50 decibels is a very solid setting, especially if you're about an inch away from the microphone. Now, I like to set the gate at 10%. For some reason, 10% is minus 53, not minus 55 or minus 50. It's really annoying, but let's just go minus 53 because then it's a 10 here. It's like when you have a TV volume thing and you want it to be a multiplication of 5. Yeah, GOXLR, fix that. I'm joking. Right, so I then have the attenuation at 50%, attack at 10 milliseconds, and release at 500 milliseconds. So the attenuation is whenever the audio goes below this threshold, how much quieter should the audio become? I've set this to 50% just to make this very natural sounding and not jarring. Because, so I'll demonstrate a jarring noise gate later. I hate noise gates that are jarring. Let's say, if you can hear a noise gate, it's too much. That is my advice. So, okay, attack is at 10 milliseconds. That's the fastest you can get it, because the attack is how quickly the gate will open once the volume goes above that threshold. 10 milliseconds is 0.01 of a second, I believe, or 0.001 of a second. So it's very, very quick and will respond to your voice very quickly. You don't want the beginnings of your voice to be cut out whatsoever. That's awful. And release, I set it to 500 milliseconds. That's half a second. So it's a very natural sound. So that you have, as soon as you stop speaking, it has half a second to trail off before the noise gate shuts again. See, I'm just going to demonstrate a very, very abrupt noise gate that I hate the sound of. I'm going to turn on TV static on my phone at about 80% volume on my phone on the desk behind the microphone. This is a dynamic microphone, so the noise, the background noise is going to be far less than a condenser microphone. I demonstrated the GOXLR settings for the Neumann TLM103 a week ago, and the Neumann TLM103 is the most sensitive microphone in the world, in my opinion. It picks up the rustling of your shirt. It's ridiculous how sensitive that microphone is. It's perfect for voice acting in the studio, which is why I have it, because I'm a voice actor and I have a soundproof studio. So it's perfect, because it captures every single nuance of the voice. But for live streaming, you don't need that, so a mic like this is great. So TV static 10 hours, let's go. Okay, you can't even hear that because this noise gate already take cares of that. That's wonderful. But let me show you a overly aggressive noise gate. So, minus 40 decibels, and turn the release all the way down and attenuation all the way up. So my voice is now cutting out in between all the frequencies. So this is really annoying. Okay, so I'm going to get really close to the microphone so my voice is a bit louder so it doesn't cut out halfway through. But yeah, when the background noise just comes in and goes really, really quickly, it's so annoying to hear. It's so frustrating. I hate it. So now I'm bringing these settings back in. Even these settings are cutting out the background noise, which is really great, actually. This microphone is really good at taking care of background noise. I really nice that, because with the Neumann TLM13, the most sensitive mic in the world, the greatest voice acting microphone in the world, and the greatest voice acting microphone in the world, that's up to debate. But yeah, in my opinion, yeah, whatever. That super sensitive microphone, this noise gate did not take care of that. You could hear it clearly. So yeah, wonderful. Okay, so now compression. Compression basically makes it so when you start speaking very loudly, it brings down the loudest parts of your audio, and then later you boost up the entire audio so that it's at a nice even level for the whole live stream. So what I'd like to set the threshold at is -20. So the compressor activates once the audio goes above -20 decibels. The ratio is 4:1, so that is the ratio of the compressor. That's how much compression is being done to audio above -20 decibels. So say if my volume I'm speaking at is -10 decibels, with the threshold at -20 and the ratio at 4:1, those 10 decibels above -20 get divided by 4. So then the end signal is -17.5 decibels. And that's where you add in makeup gain. So I like to add in about 10 decibels of makeup gain with these settings with -20 4 by 1. So 10 decibels of makeup gain so that the end signal is -7.5 from -10. But the original signal, say if I was hitting -3 or whatever, that would be divided by the ratio, and that would be like -12 or something, so that gets to -2. So it's way more consistent. So like a -10 would go to -7.5, and then a -3 would go to a -2. So when I start shouting, I'm not clipping. But when I start whispering, you can still hear me very clearly, and the volume isn't too quiet for this. So that's why compression is really nice. And I like the attack settings at -5, not -5, sorry, 5 milliseconds. So it takes 5 milliseconds for the compressor to hit. Once you go above -20 decibels, that's nice and natural sounding, and the release at 100 milliseconds. So 0.1 of a second for the compressor to end, for the compressor to stop once it goes below that. So that's just nice solid compression settings that makes the mic sound great and more consistent for the live stream, so when you're whispering, you can still be heard clearly, and then when you're shouting, you're not blowing everyone's eardrums out. Perfect. Wonderful. And now you could actually just leave it at this. If you like this sound, you could stream a live stream with this. That's what I did recently. When I was like right now, I bought a bunch of different microphones just to test out. So I'm doing one stream per microphone. I did one stream with this. I did one stream with the Electro Voice RA20. I still have one stream to do with the AKG C414. That's another microphone I bought just to test. And all I did was these. All I did was this, and that's how I get the most neutral sound out of the microphone, and just how the microphone will sound by itself, but it's more consistent in a live stream format. So I can just determine which microphone I like better. And honestly, before, I was liking the RA20 more, because it sounds more like a condenser. But then I realized if I want a condenser sound, I just use my condenser microphone, my Neumann. So this microphone has got a very sort of dark, muscular sound that I really like. Actually, before I didn't like it. Like for a long time, I hated this microphone. But now recently, after a lot of testing, I'm starting to like it a lot. But yes, EQ gives you a different tone, right? EQ will change the tone of the microphone. So what I like to do is just set a nice EQ that is nice and curvy and symmetric, which is nice. So I like to go -2 at 31.5 hertz. This cuts out some of that sub-bass that's not really in the human voice. You can go ahead and cut out all of it if you want to, but I like to leave some of it in there just for a bit more warmth. And then I like to boost by 2 at 63 hertz because the rumble, like when I talk low, the rumble in the bottom of my throat and the top of my chest, this rumble gets picked up and boosted, which is, I like the sound of that, honestly. And then I boost by 4 at 125 hertz. This is where the bass of most people's voices lie, at 125 hertz. Mine lies a bit lower than this, but that's just my voice. So this is a nice setting here. And then I just like to make this nice and like a nice curve. So I put this at 2. Like, honestly, this could be better at -2, I don't know, to cut out some of that mud. But I like to have a nice curve where it goes like then 2, then 0, then -2 at 1 kilohertz, just to cut out some of that mids. And then a 2, a 4, and a 6 in the high end to just give you that clarity. So now I like this because it's nice and like smooth. It's like a nice smooth curve. It looks really nice in my opinion. Honestly, like if you don't care about the way the EQ looks, like just cut out some of this because this is mud. But if you don't like the sound of that, I don't know. I haven't done too much experimenting with this. I just like the way this sounds. Honestly, this sounds great. And this was what I was talking into at the beginning of the video. De-essing. Now, I was watching this guy earlier, and he had his De-Esser set up to 50%, which honestly, I thought that sounded really ridiculous. Because the De-Esser suppresses the S sounds in a voice, and especially with this microphone, which isn't very sibilant by its default nature, it's a very dark microphone, is a ridiculous sound. Like, when you suppress the S's that much, it makes you sound like you've got a really strong lisp. And honestly, with this microphone, I would not use a De-Esser. Maybe I would use like a 5 De-Esser. Just if you have like a really bright sibilant voice, then fine. A 5 De-Esser is fine. And honestly, this microphone, the Neumann TL-M13, this one I said I use for voice acting, the really sensitive one, this is a very, very bright microphone. This is a huge boost in the, sibilant frequencies, the high frequency, the treble, whatever you want to call it. And there, I was only using a 5% De-Esser. Like with the Shure SM7B, I would not touch a De-Esser whatsoever. But hey, it's up to your voice. My voice is lower, and it's deeper. It's not very sibilant. So I don't use a De-Esser. But if you want that, if you have a high-pitched voice, you've got a very sibilant voice, then possibly it could work out better if you had a De-Esser. But there we go. These are the settings that I use on the GOXLR to get this nice, warm, podcasty radio sound for my live streams. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. See you all later. And wait, before I end, make sure to go follow me over at twitch.tv/JollyLegend, and you can ask me any question you want whatsoever about microphones. I honestly love talking about it. Sometimes my Twitch chat complain about how much I love microphones. They make jokes about me loving microphones too much. I'm not getting too much details because, you know, YouTube. I want to keep it friendly. Oh god, that makes it sound so awful. That makes it sound so awful, doesn't it? But yeah, I just really like talking about microphones. I'm a big nerd over audio gear and stuff because as a voice actor, it's in the job, and it really helps for me to care so much about audio quality. But yeah, feel free to join in my live stream. Make sure to follow me over there at twitch.tv/JollyLegend. Hop in, ask me anything you want, and also you can ask me anything you want in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you all later, and goodbye.